I'm taking Lauren to dinner. You don't think she's going to be expecting something big, do you?
It's been 4 years, Johnny. You and me have been together for 27 years. Where's my ring? Huh? Where's my ring? What did all my fuzzy fingers? Where's my ring? Come on.
Knock it off.
All right, I'm just saying.
Ted, boy, this is a movie that takes me back to my childhood, man.
Does it?
When you used to play with dolls?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Fun
Well,
stuff.
I mean,
Before they got all sticky and hard.
I can't believe you took your dolls out of the packaging. What the fuck, dude?
of course you say that. No, what kid didn't have stuffed animals, man?
I didn't.
I didn't.
I honestly did not have stuffed animals.
That was
that-
bullshit.
Nope.
No, it's not.
You
Yeah.
don't know much about Leon's childhood, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, you now was it is this some kind of manly thing that you
No,
put up?
I'm-
That's
I'm-
like,
I'm not saying
well,
it
you
some way like-
denied that. No,
Picture Little Orphan Annie pre-Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah, I'm not saying it like I ain't had no stuffed animals. Like, no, I just didn't have stuffed animals.
Good for you, because neither did I. Because I was around when they invented plastic, to where you didn't feel so bad playing with toys, you know. But yeah, just stuffed animals that just screams
not-
that's for your sister if you have
Right.
it. You know?
That's not true.
That's not true.
No, it's not. Come on, man.
Tickle Me Elmo? What, you guys
No.
playing with those or something? What?
Come on, man. You-
Explain to me. Explain to me. Yeah.
Actually, when I was a kid, it was always teddy bears were a boy thing. You didn't
Yeah.
give those to girls. That was boys like teddy bears.
Well, see, that's why boys have teddy bears. They're nice, soft, and you know how many kids lost their virginity to their teddy bears? I did.
I was like, nice, soft, and fuckable.
Exactly. Nobody else did that. Shit, I raped the shit out of my teddy bear.
Oh, wait, is
You
that
really
this
cared
thing
about
right
those,
Here?
yeah.
Oh my God! Jesus fuck! Get it
Like,
away from me!
You guys really cared about those Care Bears.
Shit, if my teddy bear came to life, that motherfucker be trying to escape. Help! Let me out this motherfucker, man.
It's all stiff.
That would be hilarious. Like, you wished it came to life, and the first thing it did was knock you over the head and go report you to the cops.
You touched me in a bad way.
Literally, point on the dog where he touched you.
It would be the Teddy version of Irreversible. Nice long 8 minute, 10-minute rape scene with a teddy bear.
on my teddy bear.
Yeah, I know.
Now, people are probably saying, man, you're talking about children's toys and teddy bears, and you're making something
Molestation.
and rape. And
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's like you're turning something
What
really.
has this site become?
Yeah, you're turning something innocent as a children's toy into something nasty and gross.
Seth MacFarlane did it first.
That's right. Made a whole movie about it. Yeah, but of course, the Ted we're talking about is in Seth MacFarlane's Ted. Now, Seth MacFarlane, everybody knows, Family Guy. I mean, Family Guy's been one of the most. What's that?
American Dad.
American Dad, and that, what's that?
Cleveland show.
Cleveland
I was about to
show,
say, what's that Negro's name that got his own spit off?
Oh, that's right. The Cleveland show.
The
The
Cleveland
show I tried to forget. Yeah.
Basically, Seth MacFarlane, whether you like the show or not, and Family Guy is one of the longest running, but of course, besides The Simpsons, one of the longest running animated primetime TV shows out there. And it was only a matter of time before he was able to make a movie. And I think a lot of people are saying, well, if he makes a movie, what kind of movie is it going to be? Is it going to be the Family Guy movie, or is it going to be a movie that is just nothing but Family Guy type humor?
Or is he going to follow in the footsteps of like Mike Judge, you know, where you go on from doing Beavis and Butthead on to making something
Completely different.
I mean,
Office
Space. Yeah.
Just, change the way people talk. He added new words to the lexicon, and something that died, that model, something that died at the box office and became huge on video.
Oh, huge cult hit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's more like the former thing Corey was saying.
Yeah, before we get too far out there.
Yeah, this is just Family Guy with a teddy bear. If you replace something, that's the kind of humor it is. And so in the movie, you have a little boy who has no friends, getting beat up by every day. Even the kid that's getting bullied on is like, get the fuck out of here, man. Nobody wants to be your friend. But so he has no friends. So when he gets a teddy bear for Christmas, one night he magically wishes that the teddy bear could be real and be his real friend, talk back to him, hang out with him. And this kid, he makes a wish so strong that the teddy bear does come to life. Now, this is the kind of movie where you think, does the kid only see the teddy bear? No, the teddy bear really comes to life, and it's a national phenomenon. In fact, I imagine an international phenomenon. All around the world, people are like, wow, this teddy bear came to life. The bear's making appearances on Johnny Carson, going out there. No telling what kind of merchandise and fame came with this. But as the narrator says in this, who is Patrick Stewart, he says, well, if something goes on long enough, people just don't give a shit. So it's only a matter of time for this kid grows up to be Mark Wahlberg. Fame is gone. him and this teddy bear, Ted, they're just living like normal stoners, man. This guy's got like, he's 35, but has a dead end job at a car rental place while Ted stays home and smokes pot and watches reruns of 80s stuff all day long. So, and I
But
guess
he does have one thing going for him, though. He
What's
has
that?
a super hot girlfriend played by Mila Kunis here.
Mark Wahlberg, not the teddy bear.
Well, not the well, teddy bear gets more pussy than he does.
He at least, I'm sure. I was like hoping he at least gets to watch.
Exactly. I'm sure he found a way.
That is true. He does have a hot girlfriend.
He does. He has a hot girlfriend who like is, remarkably supportive considering all he does is smoke pot all the time and skip out
And
on
fuck
work.
up.
Yeah.
And fuck up. But the movie, when we come into it, it starts at the point where she's kind of just about had enough. She's not being a bitch about it, but she's still like, okay, now look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ted is pretty much that friend that your girlfriend hates.
Oh,
Laurie, hey, you're home early.
this place is a wreck. Who are these girls?
They're hookers, so it's fine.
What the hell is this?
Oh, my God, where are my manners? Laurie, this is Angelique, Heavenly, Shireen, and Sauvignon Blanc. I love you girls. Somewhere out there are 4 terrible fathers I wish I could thank for this great night.
You could do good in life if that asshole just wasn't there, always asking you to smoke pot and go off and do dumb shit.
He's the guy on the couch, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And so that's the story that we have here. How is this guy that has this bond with this teddy bear? I mean, he brought this teddy bear to life. How is he going to split this bond with this teddy bear? Send this teddy bear out to be independent so that he can nurture and grow the relationship with his girlfriend. I think that's a great premise right here. But
I'm just shocked that Jason Segel wasn't in it somewhere.
Yeah,
Showing
no,
his
you're
dick.
right. Yeah, because he's made a living playing, playing off this
playing
plot.
guys who just live at home on the couch.
That is true. Yeah. I want to let you guys go ahead and take it because I think I'm the one that had the most problems with this. Maybe I expected
Probably
more
not.
out of this premise. Really? You don't think so?
No, I don't know. Maybe we
He
might.
was sitting next to us and he was awfully somber. I was kind of surprised by the degree of your somberness.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I tell you what, man, when it started, like the whole premise is foul mouth talking teddy bear and the jokes in front. I was all with it. Like, yeah, this is funny.
You were. I was right next to you. So, I was sitting there
and
right
probably
there.
It was a point because the audience was laughing so hard, I couldn't always hear the jokes. But somewhere about 15 minutes into it, I was like, all right, it's funny when the teddy bear cusses and all, but it ain't that funny. And the jokes I'm starting to hear, some of them are funny, some of them ain't.
Yeah.
It was very back and forth, hit and miss.
It was hit and miss, that much is certain. But you mentioned earlier, like, is this just a Family Guy thing? And the answer is yes. It's like Seth MacFarlane is a machine, right? I mean, he seriously is. He just goes through these routines. He finds out what works. If it works, he goes back and finesses it and keeps doing them. This is like his years of experience of going, oh, these are the jokes that worked on Family Guy, and just redoing them live action. And I thought, at least for one time, that was pretty goddamn funny.
Yeah, I have to admit that because actually I'm surprised, Leon, because I was sitting next to you, and honestly, I thought you were laughing more than I was. So I mean, you had me a little baffled, but I will say that at least when you are watching, you can't help but just realize, yes, this guy actually he is that complete formula that you see working on Family Guy. And, it's like, wow. Cause I thought he's one of those guys now that just does the voices on Family Guy and does some writing every once in a while. But watching this, I was like, no, it is still very much his formula. But unlike Family Guy, which I kind of stopped watching, just cause I was getting tired of it. For me, for some reason, it just worked with this movie. And maybe I think that was because of the context of what was going on with these jokes and how they played out to where they made more sense. They seem more relevant here than when he just throws them at you like he does in Family Guy. But the thing is, I thought what really worked about it though was the chemistry between Ted and Mark Wahlberg, where this is the first movie where I'm watching Mark Wahlberg and I'm actually buying into the character that he's playing for once.
Sure. Yes.
you're
right.
It's not one of those distracting things like it was with that buddy cop movie that he did where I'm like, wow, this guy seems to be struggling with this material.
Which cop movie are you talking about?
It was
the other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. Yeah. And where it just seemed like he was really trying hard to where I'm like, I've seen the guy on SNL. He can do comedy when he wants to.
Sure.
And it just felt like because of that chemistry and because, you see that great intro with Ted and Mark Wahlberg as he was a little kid, which I thought was my favorite part of the movie. Honestly, I wish I could have seen a whole lot more of that.
See, that's sad that it peaked for you in the very first 3 minutes.
Well, no, not so much that it peaked, but I just love that relationship of that kid and that teddy bear that, it did cross over when it was Mark Wahlberg. I still felt that.
See, if I had grown up in that world, the national news story would have been like 8-year-old dating Farrah Fawcett. Fuck the teddy bear. I got bigger things.
That's a wish you would have made. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a wish that would have turned into a fucking nightmare, dude.
For Farrah.
Farrah Fawcett. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, co-host, I still watch Family Guy and American Dad every week. And watching this, I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of that same humor. He probably brought over the same writers. But even I know, like, if I watch 3 episodes in a row, there'll be one episode I think is really funny and one that's just okay. And one I was like, that's pretty forgettable. And this was like having all 3 of those episodes at once. But it didn't just remind me of, it reminded me less of Family Guy as it did of Adam Sandler movies, which is funny since he made fun of Adam Sandler in this movie. But I was just like, wow, this has so many of the same notes and beats as Adam Sandler movies do. Like we just saw That's My Boy. It's like, oh, wow. It's about a guy who was cute and famous as a kid. And now he's grown up 20 years later and he's a burnout and he's washed up and nobody gives a shit about him anymore. He's foul mouthed. This Adam Sandler always has the man child in there as a main character. And the jokes, some of them work, but a lot of them are kind of random. And even plot wise, I was like, you know what? This is like a toned down Adam Sandler movie that has some more funnier jokes in it. But it's still like some stuff I'm really laughing at hard, but I got some other places where I'm like, man, you just threw this in. And especially making all the 80s references. That's totally Adam Sandler should come in and sue Seth MacFarlane for copyright infringement.
It was amazing. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was amazed at how much it paralleled That's My Boy after we had just seen
saw it.
But see, my problem with this movie is I was more interested in the story of what happened in between the time that they got famous and they became washed up has-beens. I wish I could have seen that because as it is right now, the movie is just an excuse to regenerate more gross out sex and bathroom humor that we see on Family Guy. And Seth MacFarlane, I love Family Guy. I mean, the guy's obviously very intelligent. I mean, I'm not talking about funny, but intelligent. So that's why I'm watching this and I'm just thinking, it's amazing how this movie comes to a halt just to showcase a gross out joke. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. Some of them were very funny, but some of them just seemed very childish where for Family Guy, things move so quick and there's so many jokes. I can look past those things, but for an 1.5 hour long movie, which showed promise, I'm thinking you can see the weaknesses in those kind of jokes. Also, I'm with you, man. This is what I don't like about some Kevin Smith movies. I can't stand when a director's in love with a certain time period, whether it be the 70s or the 80s, and they just ram that love for that period into the movie. Because again, it seems like a distraction. The biggest thing in here that Seth MacFarlane is throwing back to, I mean, there's several 80s things, but he loves Flash Gordon. Yeah. I didn't really I love Flash Gordon too. The movie
Who doesn't?
With the Queen soundtrack. Yeah. I love that movie to death, man, but it just seemed like an excuse to put a movie in here that he loved. It didn't really seem to fit naturally with the story at all.
It seemed more like they found out that Sam Jones was available.
Yeah.
And they just wrote that around.
Well, I'm sure that's exactly what happened, actually. But at the same time, I didn't mind it because it was one of the running jokes that worked for me throughout the movie. And a lot of them did. I mean, I agree with you. Some of the jokes, they just stand still, wait for you to respond, and you're like, okay, let's move on. That wasn't funny. But it is, I think, while not as fast paced with the jokes as Family Guy or an animated show, it's still really fast paced with the jokes. I mean, they're pretty constant. For every one that fails, another one works. And which is why I couldn't get but so irritated with it. Now, I agree with you completely about the Adam Sandler thing. I mean, in terms of plot, yeah, I mean, it's totally there. The plot is insipid. It's just ridiculous. But the charm of this movie is both in the relationship between the two leads, which is sort of a reverse Peter Griffin Brian relationship, where now they've made Peter Griffin the anamorphosized, sidekick.
Seth MacFarlane does the voice for Ted, and he is doing Peter Griffin. They even make a joke about it in the movie.
Yeah, they do. And then just plain the way the dialogue is written, I thought was really funny here. I mean, the characters relate to each other in a way that just sounds like two old school stoner friends that are basically likable. A lot of times in these kind of movies, they have those kind of characters, you can just fucking hate them. You're like, God, I want to punch both of them in the face and force them to go get a job.
It's that chemistry. It's that chemistry. And I thought the chemistry also worked with the dynamic of, the girlfriend, Mila Kunis, which I thought she was thought she was perfect in this movie. Just you know, dealing with the fact that she had a boyfriend that just couldn't get his shit together, and she knew exactly why. It's because, you know, this fucking teddy bear has so much influence over him. But, you know, how many of us haven't dealt with that with a friend that tells us, hey man, you really need to come out and hang out tonight, and you're like, nah dude, I told my girl I'd stay here. Dude, come on, man. We're going to a fucking strip club. Come on, man. Fuck. And you know, and I like how they just play with that dynamic to where I thought if that whole chemistry between those three didn't work at all, I probably would have tuned out. But because it was working, that's why I really stayed invested in it. And just the fact that you're watching a fucking teddy bear, like you're, you know, interact with these people doing crazy, dumb shit that where I was like, number one, I was blown away by the technology that brought this teddy bear to life. I mean, I was like, man.
So dinosaurs and Jurassic Park didn't do it for
no.
But this teddy bear, that's the one.
Man,
20 years later, you're like, wow, this CG is cool.
Dinosaurs aren't real, dumbass.
That was 20 years ago.
Still looks good.
But I was like, this is like the more grown up version of AI that I really wanted to see.
It was kind of like that. It was like that bear from AI.
right.
He became an alcoholic and a stoner.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sex robot.
Yeah.
I was almost hoping that they would have some link to where that bear actually starred in AI and he had a failed film career that went nowhere. And that's why he's getting fucked up.
See, that would have been funny. That would have been clever.
Yeah.
You're right though about the relationship, the triad relationship, because it's kind of a tightrope walk to keep her from being a bitch, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that Adam Sandler could never pull off.
Never could
Had he
pull
made
off.
this movie, she would have came off as a total bitch.
Yeah.
And here
And she was a
not.
very likable
Like
character.
the ultimate
you-
point they come to,
Yeah.
like, is like, oh, well, that's actually pretty smart. I'm kind of shocked that they even tried to put like a message like that in this film. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that like is simple, but most people don't get.
The only
it's,
thing,
it's not like I didn't like the film because you actually brought up a lot of good points that I agree with. I was just, I was more than anything, I was disappointed. 'Cause
Yeah, I was,
I thought it
too.
started with a lot of promise, and I'd heard good things about it before going in, and I felt like it just is that point where it's like, wow, it's not living up to what I felt like it could have been.
Well, I was just shocked at the fact that it was such a simple premise. I mean, we've seen it a billion times, but I've never seen it with a teddy bear. Maybe that's why it worked for me. But I mean, I do see all the things you're talking about, all the flaws that it had.
Yeah.
But it wasn't glaring at me because honestly, I was laughing my ass off watching this movie, and that's one of the things where there was never a point where it made me groan. Because yes, there are times when I'm watching Adam Sandler, it's like a buddy of mine, and when people are just going, I feel like shit. I'm like, oh fuck, you know, this is a bad idea coming here with these guys. But you know,
That's a bad idea liking that movie.
I know.
Don't blame us.
But at the same time, you know, I laughed a lot. I laughed so much, even at all the Flash Gordon stuff, because as much as I love Flash Gordon, I was really worried that they were going to hoard the shit out of it out like Kevin Smith does, to where it makes you not want to like that shit anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm glad there's just enough in it, just seeing fucking Flash Gordon just lose his shit.
Well, that was one
I
of
mean, that's kind of like, that was the charm of it.
That's
I
what
was
it was for
immediately-
me. I mean, it was like I was like, man, I'm sick of seeing these Flash Gordon references. I mean, you like Flash Gordon. I fucking get it.
I get
all
it.
right? Yeah. Jesus Christ. Do something with it now.
I thought he did. I
it's a plot element.
I
yeah.
know. I was initially annoyed with the way they were crowbarring Flash Gordon in. However, I discovered watching this movie that any scene with a crazy party, I just love that. It's like I was laughing hard at that scene because I was like, wow, I just love seeing a party.
And see,
that
for
goes
me,
on.
that was the payoff. That was
But you
the ultimate
know
payoff.
what? I mean, I'm like you. I don't hate the movie. I actually thought they got a lot of things right. They just weren't consistent with it. Whenever who doesn't like looking at that bear do nasty shit whenever you see him? I mean, you know, so with this kind of movie, it fit right into it. I mean, this because I like seeing the relationship between Mark Wahlberg and the bear. You're right. I mean, they seem like they really did see. I forgot that I was watching the bear. I thought I was watching I really did think I was seeing two stoner friends sitting up there wasting their lives and doing crazy shit. And yeah, it's funny how I forgot that this was. I thought I looked at it more as a human, just like a little midget, more than I actually saw it as a bear. Mila Kunis, you're right. I thought that. Yeah, the only thing that I could say that I didn't like about her character is that she didn't leave Mark Wahlberg sooner in the movie.
It is a kind of thing where it's like, okay, I know Mark Wahlberg, he's a sex symbol and all, but she is super hot.
Yeah.
She's
That's
gorgeous.
one of those things like Adam Sandler does that a lot too, to keep going back to that. Has the loser guy with a ridiculously hot girlfriend.
But
It's
you know
like,
what?
Come on, man.
The other thing is, I don't know if this is a spoiler right here. Well, no, it isn't because it came early in the movie. You don't see this actor in the advertisements or in the trailer or anything, but Giovanni Ribisi comes in as this stalker, like this.
Oh, I thought that was Casey Affleck. Sorry.
No, let me correct you. Yeah, that was Giovanni Ribisi. He comes in as this stalker, almost obsessed fan who wants Ted for his obese, creepy little kid. And
It's just there as a lazy third act device is all he
Right.
is.
really, yeah, and you know what? But see, that's exactly what it is. It is because he disappears throughout the movie until they say, "Oh, all right." In the third act, we got to have some sort of purpose to this film, and we got to have a.
Otherwise,
ending
it's just a romantic comedy, and they didn't want to do
yeah.
that. So.
But at the end, I felt the parts with Giovanni Ribisi, Seth MacFarlane directed those so well that it did play out like some weird thriller. I mean,
Silence of the Lambs.
it's like, that was the
with the
point
teddy bear again.
when Ted like left the screen and Giovanni Ribisi was standing behind him. When he left, I heard it. Actually, you heard it too. There was a woman behind us who was like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, even that kid fucking creeped me the fuck out.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I was like, that kid can have his own fucking horror movie because it's like, wow, I knew that kid at one point. I'm scared that kid could have been me. just for being fucking pure evil.
The creepy little kid, but
tearing shit apart. Yeah.
So I look at it, and there's parts where I look at Seth MacFarlane, and I think, man, that's when I see that, this guy's a competent director. And then I see other parts in the movie where I feel like there's some bad editing or scenes that just kind of end where they feels like they improvised it, but they didn't really know how they were going to end it, and they just had to edit it any kind of way. And then those are the parts where I see the first time filmmaker of Seth MacFarlane, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is his first film. I just really thought that I didn't think that there was enough cohesiveness for this premise that they had, at least for me. Maybe
I'm shocked. Once again, I will say I'm shocked because I was really surprised how good of a director he was, because there was never a moment where I felt any of this felt ad-lib, because when I see ad-lib, I see it. I mean, it's glaring, and because I find it annoying. I find it like, man, if you didn't have anything written, then don't have the scene. Don't try to make something funny because, you just need to like fill some time, because that's what scenes like that always mean to me. And I felt like there was never a wasted moment in this movie. That's probably why I felt, for me at least, it went by so quick. I mean, it was over before I even blinked,
Really?
even though it was predictable. You saw it coming, but I didn't have to wait around for it. I wasn't there just dreading, okay, when's the third act? Because I just liked so much of what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I like some of the cameos that were in there. Seth MacFarlane brings in people from the show. What's his name? Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
He's hardly in the movie, but
Actually, that was one of my least favorite parts.
really, I love that part, man. Because
that was pretty
yeah,
funny.
but
They had
Patrick Warburton's in the
say
movie. Hold on, Patrick Warburton's in the movie for only like about 5 minutes total, and every time he was on, I thought he was funny. And I'm not saying that the joke was that great, but Patrick Warburton's delivery on that was hilarious to me.
Now, his delivery is always hilarious. It's just the way he's brought in the beginning, like, oh, great, he's a good character in this. It's like, no, not really. You forget about him for a long time. He kind of pops back in to say a little something, and then pops back in with a joke that I was like, wow, I was sick of this joke in Rock of Ages, and now here it is again. It didn't work for me. It's like something like, hey, let's pull this guy back in. I was like,
You know what?
That's lazy.
I found here it was so utterly absurd and such a minor throwaway joke that I liked the joke. It made me laugh, but they didn't make a big deal about it. It was like, it's just another joke. There you go. Let's move on. Time for the next joke.
Well, ultimately, he could have been taken out of the movie and it wouldn't have changed it at all.
Well, yeah, he could have,
Yeah,
but it doesn't
totally.
mean that it wasn't funny.
It wasn't
I mean,
effective.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was. I thought it was.
Not for me.
Yeah,
what'd
like
you
a
think
Rock of Ages is like 10 minutes of the movie.
It's a-
is
yeah,
that joke.
It's a musical
that's a
number.
subplot.
Yeah, they stop to give you a musical number for a joke that's lame, but here it's just a guy that has a few lines. He's in and out, and it's worth at least a chuckle. Come on, man, what's wrong with you?
Laugh a little, Leon.
damn.
What happened to the fun?
Okay, what do you think about Joe McHale then?
Oh, he was. I mean, he was part of the plot. He was funny. I mean, it's Joe McHale doing, the typical Joe McHale.
Yeah,
but he worked.
He's the smarmy lawyer at the beginning of Community here, basically.
Yeah.
See, that I knew you were gonna do this. See, I knew you would like him because I didn't like him. I hate that I don't hate, but I'm really tired of that plot line of the boss that's hitting on the cute girl in the office.
Yeah,
and
but
she
have you
just happens to
seen
have a
Mila
boyfriend.
Kunis?
You literally have to
It would have been unrealistic
No,
for him to not.
That
hit
made
on
too
her.
much sense. I'm sorry.
She
Come
picks
on,
some guy
baby.
who-
What's wrong with me?
You look
Come
at her,
on. Yeah.
and then you look at her loser boyfriend.
Yeah.
You tell me you ain't gonna try to drive a
Why,
wedge.
why are you
If
hanging
she-
out with that guy that used to sell underwear?
If she took him to court for sexual harassment, the judge would be like, what you doing later, babe?
Yeah.
I just laughed.
You know, the judge would say, "Shut the fuck up," and he was like, "Hey, what you doing later?"
I just laughed that the guy was so pathetic that even she was like, "Why do I need to file anything on this guy? He's such a loser."
What movie was it that he just played a role like that? It was the same thing. He wasn't in it that long, but he played that
He
guy.
is a little typecast right now, but that
Well, the last
happens a
thing I
lot.
saw him in was Spy Kids. He was in that last. He played the dad in Spy Kids,
Oh,
but
well,
he wasn't
that
that
was a different
character.
role.
Yeah, that was a completely different role.
All right. I think like everybody here, nobody's saying anything that's wrong. It's just the way you felt about it when it was happening, you know? It's flawed as hell, this movie, no question. And I think that it's kind of sloppy, but it's sloppy in a charming way, the way like Kevin Smith's Clerks was sloppy. You're like, hey, this is fun. I can get past the fact that it's not anywhere near a perfectly made film. And is it irritating that he's just recycling all his Family Guy jokes? Yeah, but I've never seen him done live action. I think it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, there's so many classic Family Guy moments that you're like, oh, that's what they're doing here. Like, you can't help but miss the chicken fight that happens every 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's a whole version of that here, but it works.
Which
'cause
was
it's
amazing.
A live action
Actually,
teddy
that-
bear
that was
human
the-
fight.
That fight was so
Funny as
well
hell.
done, man. It is a chicken fight, but to see it done with a live action teddy bear. You could tell Seth MacFarlane has looked at certain directors and knows how to mimic them well enough. That was some Sam Raimi type directing.
No, I was
the way
thinking,
that camera was moving back and forth.
Yeah, I was completely thinking, okay, this is some other director stepped in to direct that scene because it was so fascinating just to watch. Where I'm like, wow, this is taking me back to Jackie Chan days of fighting.
And even,
wow.
and even Ted is Ted himself. That's just the numerous animal characters that you see in Family Guy or American Dad, or because
Any one of the goofy non-human character.
Yeah,
that's in every
exactly,
single one of
yeah,
those shows.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and get my rating here. I don't hate the movie. I actually found some things funny. I found some things very funny, but I was more disappointed by more things than the things that I laughed at loud and hard at. So I'm gonna give this a rental.
Oh, wow. Yeah, to me, it was very 50-50. It was just 50 that I liked and 50 that I was just, really disappointed. And it was like, wow, you kind of wasted my time, or I know you can do better, or stop being another Adam Sandler. Cause I'm like, man, I don't need another comedy with a man-child in the lead. I mean, really, it's too many. And the thing is, between the good and the bad, it wasn't like it all melted into one smooth thing. It's like a stew where it's just not melting together. The parts that are good really stick out and the parts that aren't stick out. So I come at a very low matinee. I wouldn't quite go rental because I know it's a crowd pleaser.
You're looking at me like I'm wrong for doing that.
Why you do that?
Yeah, no, you look at it. I wouldn't quite do that.
I wouldn't be an asshole. Call it rental, you jerk. But
It's funny. Like, I agree with everything you said, except that in fact it is 50-50, but the stuff that was good stuck out so much more than the stuff that was bad. I mean, the stuff that was bad was just over so quick, and then there was something that was really good. I mean, honestly, I laughed really hard through this movie. I mean, there was a point I was even crying a little bit. I was laughing so hard. And hey, man,
I got your back. I'm with you.
that's worth a
Kiss
lot.
ass.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
It's a shame they couldn't have put more work into it, though, because it seems like it wouldn't have taken that much effort to elevate this to something really special.
Yeah.
But because, I mean, Seth MacFarlane is a truly talented comedy writer, but it's like, I feel like he's just fallen back in the whole, oh, hell, it doesn't matter what story we tell as long as we stick to what works. But once again, I did enjoy it. I'm giving a high matinee. I do recommend it, but it's no work of art.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, I honestly, with the flaws that it did have, I thought all the great moments outshined those. Even the directing. I'll be honest with you, I'm not that big of a Seth MacFarlane fan. I'm usually with those guys with South Park when they bitch about him and his type of humor, to where I'm like, yeah, I see it too. Yeah, it worked. There's those first 4 seasons of Family Guy, but after that, I just stopped caring. So I was on the fence about this movie because I didn't want to see a live action Family Guy, but I did, and it worked. So call me crazy, but
Crazy.
I actually enjoyed the hell out of this movie, and that's because of the chemistry, the Ted character. The Ted character just came so much to life. Like you were saying, Corey, you forget he's a teddy bear after a while. He's just another roaming dumbass that, doesn't know when to stop fucking up and stop getting his friend into fucking trouble. And I have to give it up to Mark Wahlberg. I was really surprised that he actually pulled it in. And, Leon, I hear what you're saying about the man-child thing, which I understand, but I really thought he wasn't playing this so, to the point to where it was irritating. I didn't think he was that kind of man-child dad. I can understand you guys hate Adam Sandler for, to where I thought he was playing it just pitch perfect. Because you still want to care about him. You want to care about his relationship with Mila Kunis because she's so fucking hot. You don't want that dumbass to fuck it up, but then again, you can understand the relationship that he had between Ted because they have more than a friend relationship. They have a brotherly relationship.
Plus, he's a magic talking bear.
And
Who
he's a
wants to
fucking
give
badass
that?
magic talking bear. So, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give it up to Seth MacFarlane. Hey, you impressed me, dude. So I'm giving you a full price.
You know what? I would agree with you with Mark Wahlberg. It is one of those things where, like, okay, of all the man-childrenous man-childs out there,
Well, because he's not like
he's really good. He's like, his character has dimension, and he's not half retarded.
he's not absurd. He's just a guy with some Arrested Development.
But I would say
He's
that
not
at
Will
this
Ferrell.
point, there's been such an oversaturation. Like, I guess that's the culture's praising this. There's been such an oversaturation that I don't even want to see the good ones anymore.
Wow.
Just enough.
That's
of
not fair.
Everybody, fucking grow up and be adults.
No.
You're on the wrong side.
I'm with you. I will say that I'm with you, co-host. It's really nice to see Mark Wahlberg do something different. Guy, who's in Boston, who does every role like this.
Like this? Yeah, buddy.
Like, wicked retarded.
Hey, Ted.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, bro? What's going on, bro?
What's my pot? Huh?
This is
Oh, you fucking
eerie.
with me now, huh? Huh, bro?
room filled
You
with
fucking
Mark
with me.
Wahlberg.
You want to die? Yeah. Do you?
I do kind of right now. Yes.
Hey, I would come over and do it with you, but I've been high my last 9 years doing movies. So
You're fucking my Teddy. Now you're trying to fuck me, pal? Oh, no.
Down here, not looking up your towel, swear to God, not looking at your funny business.
Sometimes I think back to that Christmas morning when I was 8 years old. I wish I'd just gotten a Teddy Ruxpin.
Why are you crying?
My joke gets squished by the TV.
I look stupid.
No, you don't. You look dapper.
John, I look like something you give to your kid when you tell him grandma died.